Why am I even here?
South of Midnight. This was just recently, but about a month ago, South of Midnight released its trailer. The like-to-dislike ratio is catching up. Compulsion Games community managers Katie Robinson claimed she hates gamers. White gamers are a mistake. So we're gonna react to this article from that part. And yes, it's a few months old. I know. I want to give you some context. And before I show you this is what she looks like. And let me show you the art from Grumps. Hazel has been race swapped. This right here is the white version, and this is the newer version. Now, according to this, Robinson wrote that I'm happy and proud to announce that I've joined an amazing team at Xbox's very own Compulsion Games as their new community manager. After spending 9+ years in the gaming space as a content creator, I decided to begin my journey to make an impact on the other side of the industry. As her post about gamers, she wrote back on February 14th, honestly, I hate gamers. Hate gamers, and says Asian are white adjacent. I'm Asian, meaning that I'm white adjacent. Is that right? You know how easily this argument can be used against you, Katie? One of the biggest changes to the game was alteration of the character creation system in Contraband to remove gender difference and allow random swapping male/female body parts, facial hair, and more. But it didn't stop there. After SBI was brought on board Compulsion Games, South at Midnight, the main character was race swapped from white to black, as always. It also comes in the wake of Compulsion Gaming supporting Crystal Dynamic trigger warning for Tomb Raider 1 until 3 remastered. The game in this collection contains offensive depiction of people. Well, you guys get the pictures. You guys can pause this if you want to read it. And this one, certain some of you know this. Many video games are a product, other times they were created in. As we look to recreate and remaster these stories for a modern audience, it's important to consider the implication of these harmful portrayals and do our part to rewrite new history, not repeat it. We applaud our peers at Crystal Dynamic for their reflection and correction. Robinson told Outlet, you're not going to tickle some people's fancy being outspoken or tweeting things like I do when I say white gamers were a mistake. I like to think that my kind of presence act as a way kind of a show people like. Hey, if you can be outspoken, you can have a backbone and stand something and still be successful. Really? I mean, we see who sits at the top of the society in general. Is that subconscious bias and subconscious racism? When most people think about gaming, they have one image in mind, and it's probably some white guy. Somebody white says, I have this impression going to a space where there's black people that ends up being rooted in something more sinister. That's when you have to take a look at yourself and ask yourself, why do you feel that way? Black folks who are queer, trans, brown, disabled, being outnumbered by cisgender white male, especially white men, and not just during specific Black History Month or Women History Month at any time of the year. She hates gamers. Let's put it lightly. I mean, every time I ask myself this, if you hate gamers, why do you become a video game developer? That's the real question. You hate gamers, why do you have this job? It's like seeing someone who wants to be a reporter, but they hate the reporter, or perhaps the audience. How does it happen? I think this is when it comes to ESG, and after the pandemic, they just hire whoever they want. Just like that, in a blink of an eye. Honestly, it baffles me when people say they hate gamers, yet they got in a position where they could develop games and virtue signaling at the same time. And this is one of the reasons why many Western gamers, most of them at least, are now playing Asian-made games. And I'm certain if you're watching this and the background footage of my games, one of them had to be mostly Asian, or perhaps old games, about like what, a decade-year-old, maybe something. Overall, just give people good games, good story, good characters. Don't even give the excuse that what you're doing is the new norm. The people or the game developer in Asia have proved this thing to be wrong. Character can be one-to-one, not just male but female as well. Leave a like and subscribe. Don't forget, if you want to see gaming news or reviews, you can visit my first channel up here, or you can see the link in the description.